In the New World in colonial Massachusetts, the first woman executed for witchcraft was Alice Jones in 1647 by hanging. Few records exist explaining why Alice Jones was believed to be a witch, but her daughter was also accused of witchcraft 30 years later, but not hanged. We have more records regarding Margaret Jones, a midwife who was executed the following year, also in Massachusetts. The Governor John Winthrop wrote in his journal the following: June 15, 1648. At this court, one Margaret Jones of Charlestown was indicted and found guilty of witchcraft and hanged for it. The evidence against her was, number 1, that she was found to have such a malignant touch as many persons, men, women, and children, whom she stroked or touched with any affection or displeasure, or etc., were taken with deafness or vomiting, or other violent pains or sickness. Number 2, she practicing physic, and her medicines being such as things by her own confession were harmless, as aniseed, liquors, etc., yet had extraordinarily violent effects. Number 3, she would use to tell us such as would make of her physic, that they would never be healed, and accordingly their diseases and hurts continued with relapses against the ordinary course and beyond the apprehension of all physicians and surgeons. Number 4, some things which she foretold came to pass accordingly, other things she would tell of as secret speeches, etc., which she had no ordinary means to come to knowledge of. Number 5, she had, upon search, an apparent teat, as fresh as it had been newly sucked, and after it had been scanned, and upon a forced search, that it was withered, and another began on the opposite side. Number 6, in the prison, in the clear daylight, there was seen in her arms she was sitting on the floor, and her clothes up, etc., a little child, which ran from her into another room, and the officer following it, it was vanished. The like child was seen in 2 other places which she had relation, and one maid that saw it fell sick upon it, and was cured by the said Margaret, who used means to be employed to that end. Her behavior at the trial was very intemperate, lying notoriously and railing upon the jury and witnesses, etc., and in the like distemper she died. The same day and the hour she was executed, there was a very great tempest at Connecticut, which blew down many trees, etc. John Hale was a 12-year-old and a witness to her execution. He was later a participant in the far more famous Salem witch trials in 1690, where 14 women and men were hanged on the allegations of young girls in the town. Hale had a change of heart when his own wife was accused during the trial. This accusation arguably was the turning point which brought the killings to an end in Salem. There were still trials and convictions, but nothing of the same scale after in the colonies. In 1706, Grace Sherwood was one of the last known persons to be convicted of witchcraft in the Americas, where in Virginia her neighbors accused the midwife of turning into a cat, and her guilt was determined by her floating after being dunked in water. But she was jailed rather than executed. History is awkward.